Hey everyone, welcome back to my workbench. Slightly frustrating update. This is the Nomad I've been working on, and running into two issues I'm running into. Playing it still, like here. Get this off here. Get this at right angle here. See if I can see it. It was glitching out. I had last time I turned it on, I saw a couple little screen glitches towards the bottom. Let's see if I can reproduce it. I don't see it. Was that a glitch? Well, that's the glitch I'm not quite sure on. Happens sometimes, doesn't. The more important one I've run across is when I go to run it off of the battery pack, the Nomad turns on, but where I picked off for the 12 volt boost for this screen is in the wrong spot. So when I go to run off a battery, the screen doesn't turn on. So I need to open it up and move that to a different spot. It's actually powered up by the battery circuit. So unfortunately, where it's powered up now is this will work off of AC. So now I got to open it back up. Unfortunately, which is not the most fun thing to do. But luckily, where it's at is not too bad. It's actually located. It's located right over here. I probably have to come in on the other side. I'll have it powered up with the battery and see if I can move that to a different spot so it works on battery or on AC. So that's a little frustrating. That's going to delay things a day, which I know is disappointing because I know Clint really wanted this back shipped before Christmas. So I'll get to work on this little guy here. So a little frustrating. I wanted to, since I'm going to be going back in here, I also want to take a look at the boost circuit one more time as well, just to see what kind of voltages I'm going to need. I mean, maybe bump it up above a little bit above 12 volts. I'm not sure. So you can see how tightly this thing is packed together once I open it up. Very frustrating because I got the packs. I mean, this is the pack for it was 6 AA's, and I've got the charging port on the bottom. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but it's mostly fits. It's kind of tight though. It was never intended to take such large cells inside. Everyone get an idea of just how packed it is in here. So open her up. Four screws because I left out the anti-tamper for now. I'll put that back in when I'm done. So you can see how challenging it was to actually route all the cabling. This is the power cabling here. This is all the joystick, the controller 1 mod. This is controller 1 mod work here and some power. So I'm going to have to pull it up in a minute and take a look. And with the speaker, I actually had to end up cutting it off here and soldering it to the other side because it kept on breaking off in this connector, and I didn't feel like messing around with that connector anymore. So I'm going to have to pull up these screws here, pull this whole board back, and Everything else I'm going to keep all plugged in the way it is. I just need to move one wire over to probably a regulated 5-volt line instead. And that way I know it's going to be either from the power jack or from the battery side. So, all right, this is something I gotta dive into carefully here. But yeah, you can see how everything, I had to route it all through here, and when you fold it all up, it's, you got to be careful not to pinch things, and it's kind of a challenge. So I need to pull up one. Luckily it's less screws, because you actually lose with this mod. These screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where's the fifth one here, are what hold the case together. And then there used to be 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, that held the old screen in place, and those aren't there anymore. So you only got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding down this board now. So, alright, let's see what we can do here. This is exciting. I didn't expect to have to go back in here. I was a little bit worried about it when I was putting it together, about that not working. That's such a shame, because I got the CDX put away and everything. It's all, that's in half of the box, and then I got this guy going on here. It just wasn't going to give up. It's a tri-wing. I got so many tri-wings, I got to throw some out. Anyone need a tri-wing? I used to work on a bunch of Nintendo stuff, so I got a bunch of tri-wing bits kicking around here. Where's my other set? Where's my better screwdrivers? What are you? You're going to be a Japanese Phillips. They're slightly different from American Phillips for some reason. I like this one better. It's got magnetic tip anyway. Makes my life easier. So yeah, I gotta go in here now and 1, 2, that I can leave for probably 3. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4. I thought it was 4, but maybe it's just 3. No, it's just 3. So this is where I'm a little unhappy with this bracket design, because it's not actually. I'll pull this one too. Make it easier. The bracket design for this large screen is not my favorite. It all kind of just sits in there. There's no. It doesn't line up to really. Does it line up to a screw hole? I missed it or what? I don't see it though. No, I think it just stands up on some bosses here. So it's a little frustrating. Oh, it's kind of jammed on there now. Okay. There's no real screw holes to remount it. I mean, it does line up. See here and here, line up to this point here and here, and then this guy lines up on the. This actually goes over the LED, and this is the LED hole right here. So, all right. So this is where I need to move the power. Alright, so let's see if I can find it. I have to find a spot where there's still power when it's running off of. That wasn't a good sound. What was that? I don't know. Oh, that was probably the little red power switch. Find it in a minute. It's red. It should be easy to find. And you can see here, I actually had the solder on the speaker wires directly. Oh, where'd the little red thing go? So you power it up. Oops, does it have a game? No, no game in there right now. I'm not gonna power up without a game. So you turn it on, you'll hear the sound come up in a minute. It should. Let me see. I gotta find. Yeah, see. A little muffled because it's facing downwards. This is a ground. Let's see if I can find. See, I should have known better because there's no power here. What do I got here? Nothing. That was the 5-volt line. Let's try this again. Nothing. It doesn't like that. I can hear it snapping at me. Let's throw it on the. Yeah, where's the power adapter at? Googly moogly, where'd you go? There you are. Okay, so that's it running off of DC power. See, this is a problem I run into. It's resetting when I'm trying to pull power off of there. I wonder. Okay, so we got 5 volts here, which is also the 5 volts I'm using for. Which is 5 volts I'm using for the screen, using for the controller 1. So I wonder, let's see, what else do we have here? This is a regulator here. Nothing on that side. Okay, so I've got 9 volts on that side. So is that 9 volts only when it's on AC? Or are we getting 9 volts off of the power supply? Okay, so it's running. So I want to come in. Okay, so 5 volts down that side. So that's your 5 volt regulator there. Here's your 5 volts there. So you get 5 volts sitting there. So what I'm going to have to do is pull off of current spot here, this white wire, and move it down to where the screen's at and see if that affects it. Alright. Oh, real quick. Should have known better. I think that's the just one of the pins off the 9 volts. I should have known better than that. And we all make mistakes, I guess. Okay, then Let's run in the parallel on the 5. Pull the battery off. Let's see what happens here. Throw it on the 5. There. On the 5 in parallel. Hopefully that 5-volt regulator. It looks pretty beefy, but it's a little concerned. I don't want to overload the existing 5-volt regulator, but it should be all right. It's not going to draw any more power than the old screen did, that's for sure. So let's try it off of AC first. Let's see if we get power. Yeah, good. Good sign. Good, so it's not blowing that out of the water. Click that back on. And AC off. And hey, here we go. Okay. See if the controller 1 mod still works. I'm slightly worried. I didn't really want to pull off that 5-volt regulator, but it might be a... Oh my god, I need to clean this workbench up. Holy crap. Okay, let's throw it on Hey, oh, that's a good sign. So I'm running off of the controller 1 here. See if we get any screen glitches. Seems to happen like when I'm running on AC here. Let's see if we see anything going on here. Well, looks pretty solid running off of a... Okay, it's looking pretty good. Don't see anything weird going on. Oops. Ah. Okay, this is a really bad angle to play at. Okay. Probably should have conserved it, but okay. So, good news is now it's running off of battery just fine. So now I just need to put it all back together again. So I'm gonna keep working on this tonight, and I want to get this guy done tonight, and do a little more playthrough with it, put back together. And then tonight or tomorrow, we're going to get the final video for it and then ship it out. CDX is in the box already, and this is going to go along with it. I wonder how much I insure this for. I don't even know what the heck a CDX is going for nowadays. And Nomad, I know what it's going for modded. The CDX, I'm not so sure. So everything's going back in the box. I'm going to put this back together. Then I'm going to do a longer playthrough on the battery packs. I'll try out both packs on here and rock and roll. So at least I was able to troubleshoot it and figure out what the issue was. So the problem is I pulled off of this 9-volt line here, and I should have been pulling off the regulated 5. And it seemed to clean up the screen glitches too. So win-win. Alright. I'm going to get to work here, and Clint should be done tomorrow by the way I'm going now, so I don't see why you shouldn't have this. I'll hopefully drop this in the mail tomorrow and get this off to you. And of course I will get you the tracking information, so that'll be handy. Everyone, thanks for watching, Clint included, and everyone else who happens to be watching these videos. Hopefully the next video is going to be me doing a walkthrough or playthrough on this Nomad a little bit, and then I'm going to, after that, get this battery pack off. After I get this do the walkthrough, playthrough, I'll start working on my own projects after this. And of course, this all goes back in. See, this is the hokey part, man. Oh, I don't like this at all. This is not my favorite design. The small board version they sell, this is Console 5, is a lot easier to ensure that it's not cattywampus as you put it in place. Okay, so yeah, time to put some screws back in, then fold it back in, put the screws back in, seal the case back up, and then after that it's just a matter of doing another playthrough. I'll work on this for a couple more minutes maybe. It's very exciting. I'm not a huge fan of the way the screen locks in. It's so easy to get stuff pinched you can't see underneath. So, alright, I'm going to keep working on this. It's hard to put this back together and talk at the same time. Yeah, it's so easy. These wires just want to get pinched like you wouldn't believe. I even have everything like taped down in there, and it's still not the most agreeable. It's so easy to get wires pinched in there because it was never really meant to have anything extra. Sega really packed this in really well, so it's tight. It's real tight. And now that I have less hold down screws, it's the only thing that worries me slightly is looks like there's only 3. I'll see if I can find a fourth spot to screw down, but I don't think it exists anymore. I know this doesn't exist, that doesn't exist anymore. And those are the big ones that pass through to hold the case together, so. The other thing is when you put it together, you want to make sure the buttons are all lined up again. The Lynx 2, Atari Lynx 2 has a really neat controller subboard. It's all built on a flex circuit. It's really quite elegant, actually, surprisingly. The guys at Atari did some neat stuff. It's this neat, like, independent flex board, and it doesn't really rely much on screws holding it down. It almost like clips in. It's actually kind of cool and elegant in its own way. Let's see if we can get that back together again. Any more spots or screw holes? No, not really. There's no more standoffs to hook into. Again, it's so easy to get all of this not agreeing with each other. And then you gotta get this guy back on, which I forgot to do, which means I gotta unscrew that corner again. Ugh. Oh, this is such a fun system to take apart and put back together again. Okay. You gotta make sure you're not pinching between any of the controls. You're doing everything blind. Not the best construction. Ease of assembly. That's the word I'm looking for. Ease of assembly. I was a manufacturing engineer for almost 10 years. Oh, well, I did final tests too, but I was working in the manufacturing department, so I got to learn a lot about how you're supposed to put stuff together, like pokey oak and all that fun stuff. It's so easy to pinch wires on this. Something doesn't feel right. I guess that works. Buttons feel okay. Joypad feels good. Okay. So yeah, yeah, it's not the easiest console to. I don't think it was the easiest console to assemble in the first place, to be honest with you, by the feel of it. Just the way there's a lot of. I hate blind assembly steps. I don't think there was many blind assembly steps with the original design though, because the screen actually was attached to the what am I looking for? The screen was attached to that main board there. Actually, not main board. That's actually the controller board, and the LCD controller board. Let's see if this still works. One more screw in here. Two more screws. Two more. And I got the anti-tamper screw, but I'm not going to put the anti-tamper in until I know I've got all that put back together again. Actually, I have an anti-tamper bit, which is kind of handy. Okay. Roll back in place, except for the anti-tamper. Give it a hard shot. Oh, battery pack. Here it is. See if I broke it. Yay! Powered up first time. Clean the screen off before I send it out. Yay! Huh, looks like the screen glitches went away too. Oh, look at that. Well, that's cool. Okay, now that's enough for tonight. You got to see me take apart this guy and put it back together again. I'll buff this screen out, get my oily hand juice off of there, for lack of a better term. And then I'm going to test it out with the other pack. I'll do a little bit longer of a playthrough, just make sure the this video just doesn't want to end, does it? I'll do a little longer playthrough later, using the other pack to make sure they both work just fine. And yeah, it's looking good now. I feel better. I can sleep now knowing I should be able to get this out tomorrow unless the world falls. As a family tradition, my wife was in the ER today again. I think it was the 4th time this year she's been in the ER. Almost every major holiday. We've hit Mother's Day and something else too, and that's been fun. So, alright everyone, thanks for watching. And one good news, Clint. Looks like it's getting out of here shortly. So everyone have a great night.